Welcome to Crypto-Clothesline. We're glad to be here with you. Hanging out the crypto laundry. Getting all the crypto info for you. Crypto-Clothesline. Crypto-Clothesline.
Hello, Amy Rose. Good morning.
Hello. Today, we're going to be interviewing a comedian, which is awesome because it's going to be light.
And what an interesting guy. Like, he talks about the fact that he's had this background in philosophy. He did a philosophy degree plus other things by the sounds of stuff. And yet he's able to take banal sort of daily information. I mean, I think comedians are brilliant like this. They take the everyday, they sort of show it back to us. They mirror it back to us so that we can actually see ourselves in a funnier light, because we all take ourselves way too seriously.
Oh, absolutely. And talking to him actually gave me some insight into how comedians actually work. He's actually going to be doing juggling and stuff. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of juggling, but I do know that if I'm having a down day and a grown man stands in front of me and starts juggling, I'm probably going to take life a little less seriously.
Well, I think it helps getting some sleep because, you know, I see mothers, and I'm not just pointing the finger here, but I see mothers, and myself especially in the last few days, when you haven't quite had the edge on the sleep factor and everything becomes so serious, you know, everything just drives you over the edge. And we really, having a grown man juggle in front of you, I think would be rather funny. I just love the idea of seeing a comedy show.
I know. Then the grown man, though, is juggling and then gets on a unicycle. So that's what he's going to be talking about. He is actually a comedian who does his shows on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and they're very funny.
I love the bit where he talks about his mum.
Oh, that was so sweet, wasn't it?
No, it was so good to talk to Michael. Why don't we have a listen?
Yeah, let's have a listen. Hi, Michael. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Welcome to the Crypto Clothesline.
Thank you.
Tell us what you're up to, Michael.
Well, right now I'm working on a new show. So I'm writing a comedy show, which is what I always do, but I'm trying to work in some juggling, which I used to do a lot of as a kid, pretty much from when I was about 13 through to about 22. I was pretty obsessed with juggling and being in youth circuses and that sort of stuff. And then I sort of got tired of it and stopped. But then in the last couple of years, I was like, oh, you know, you're always looking for a point of difference. And I'm like, oh, I've got this skill. No one else is doing it. Why not work this in? And my idea is sort of use the juggling as a metaphor for learning because, you know, if you just stand on stage and talk about meta learning and the mind and cognition and neuroplasticity, people are like, yawn. So maybe throw in a few juggling tricks and ride a unicycle.
Well, is it true that people have got a very short attention span? Like, you know, in early childhood, we say a 2-year-old can sit for 2 minutes. A 3-year-old can sit for 3 minutes. Is that the same with audiences? Like if you're looking at your avatar being between 18 and 25, is that how long they can sit for?
Well, it's an hour show, so I hope they can sit for a little longer.
So you're 60 plus.
Yeah, I reckon an hour, 50 minutes an hour is a good time for a show. Sometimes you go see comedy shows, and a lot of comedy festivals, all the comedy shows are an hour long, and that's just because the venue rents out by the hour. And you watch the show and you go, well, this is a good 45-minute show. And I wish they'd just cut it down by 15 minutes. We'd all go home, you know?
But then again, with the unicycle and the juggling, that's breaking it up for the audience, as you say.
Hopefully so. Hopefully I can work in those little bits every 15 minutes or so, do something a bit different, juggle, jump on the unicycle, you know, do some yo-yo tricks or something and get people to go, oh, what's going on?
Wake up a bit.
Yeah. Trying it out at little open mic nights and comedy clubs around town, and it's been working well so far. Really annoying because for years my mum was like, you should do some juggling in the comedy show. People would like it. And I was like, Mum, that was what I did as a kid. No one's going to like that. And then I did it once as a joke and people loved it. And I'm like, oh, nuts. Now I've
We were sitting in a restaurant on Mother's Day just the other night. There was a lady sitting near my son, and she turned around and she said, you know, your mother's always right. Even if you don't want to admit it, she's always bloody right. So listen to her.
Yeah, I guess she is. Yes, she is.
You had some really interesting comedy around the Bitcoin thing, and that came out some time ago. Are you using cryptocurrency and the whole volatility of the market in your presentations anymore?
Not so much. I wrote the routine on Bitcoin, a few years ago, if my memory is right, about 2013, start of 2014. And I was doing it in shows just around the town. It was very hard because, you know, general public still hasn't got a good understanding of what Bitcoin is or crypto in general. And but I just thought it would be a good challenge, write that routine, do it on the TV show that I was on, and put it on the internet. And now that I've done that, I don't tend to keep using it. I don't do that material that often. Every now and again, I've got asked to do a bit of a talk at an IT conference, or I'll be performing at a comedy night and I'll ask the crowd, you know, where are you guys from? They're like, oh, we're all, you know, bankers or IT workers, and I go, oh, you'll probably like this routine then, and go into the Bitcoin stuff. But it hasn't evolved. It hasn't grown much longer than the bit I have online. I still do sell my CD using Bitcoin so people can purchase it. And I still, every now and again, get a little Bitcoin from that, which is always wonderful.
So, Michael, you have a few other routines that I'm a bit of a fan of. There's one where you talk about currency and money. So I'm just wondering, you obviously have a little bit of a different take with comedy to other comedians. How long have you, and what got you interested in currency and cryptocurrency and money, and how do you see the funny side of it? Because there's a bit of not excitement about it sometimes. It's usually a bloodbath, actually.
It can be a bit dry. It can be a bit hard to write comedy about it. Often the challenge with writing routines about, you know, finance, money, economics, crypto, is because the audience is just so uninformed. But I also kind of like that. I enjoy the challenge of being able to write material and explain it as I go to get people to laugh along.
Bitcoin is also great because it's an open source program. That means you can open it up and check out any part you want. You can just investigate anything that you're interested in. Like, try doing that at the bank. You know, next time they're emptying out the ATM, just jump in the armoured car. What's going on? Not looking around. When you buy stuff with Bitcoin, it's more private than with credit cards, right? Which is good because, you know, credit cards, when you buy stuff online, banks and governments, they can sort of see what you're doing. That can cause problems sometimes. Like the other week, I bought some books on Amazon about the Middle East. It came up with this thing going, you know, customers who bought this item also bought a trip to Guantanamo Bay.
Back in like 2012, 2013, I got a job working as a copywriter for a financial information service. They wrote newsletters for investors, people interested in investing and investing in shares and other opportunities. And just from working in that, I sort of started learning about this stuff, which no one teaches you. No one tells you about when you're growing up, which I think is a really terrible thing. I mean, you know, if you want to get really conspiracy with it, there's probably a reason they don't tell you that, and everyone just goes along with the mainstream.
Please get conspiracy. I love it.
I would imagine banks, it's in their interest that you're not very informed about personal finance and credit card companies. Everyone has an interest in the general public being as uninformed as possible, because that's how they make their money. And most people don't start looking into their finances until they're in some sort of trouble. They're horribly in debt, not making any money. What's going on? I just got very lucky and happened to get this job where they had these investment experts. They would come up with ideas. My job was to understand those ideas and translate them into readable articles that we then publish on the internet. Yeah, just from reading that, I just got really interested in all this sort of, economics and finance, cryptocurrency. I was just shocked when I found out that money is just a concept, like there's nothing behind it. And just go down that rabbit hole and you're like, wow, this is bizarre. And then you just read all these articles and watch all these videos. And yeah, it's just a very, very strange concept. I think a lot of people have this idea that money, when you withdraw money from the bank, you're withdrawing, not your money. I suppose that's my original idea, is that you put $20 in and then you can bring $20 out. And I was a bit beyond that. I thought, well, when I borrow money out, I'm borrowing out someone else's $20. I didn't realize that, no, it's just like numbers on a spreadsheet. They just enter it in and then the money exists. And that's how it's all done, all through the system. It's a bizarre idea, absolutely insane.
Because you actually spend the best part of your life with this notion that the banks are safe, the banks are there to protect you, the banks are they got your back. And when that sort of light starts to shine through the crack of, this dawn of understanding that it's just all a facade and it's all a marketing ploy and you're actually on your own, it's almost, it is shocking.
I think there was a huge wake-up call, during the GFC. That happened. Everyone, for ages, we all thought, there's this huge global economic system that's underpinned by something very stable. And then you find out, not really. No, it's all just being made up as we go along. And it's just mind-boggling. Yeah. And that's with that. And then I thought, look, maybe there's a way I can explain that in a comedy routine. Yeah. And I mean, I love doing stand-up. I love telling jokes. When I'm performing, sometimes I could just write, men and women are different. What's the deal with airline peanuts? All that sort of stuff. But I'm not particularly different or interesting in any sort of way. So the only thing I've got is different and unusual material. So rather than trying to be the comedian doing the best airline material, why not be the only comedian doing the crypto material, the only comedian doing the economics material?
I don't understand money. I don't. That's partly why I'm a comedian. This is a terrible financial decision. Like, sometimes I do gigs, I try to work out how much money I'm making on the gig. I'm like, okay, it cost me about $3 a kilometre to drive my car. I drove 20 Ks to get here. They're paying me with a sandwich. How does that work out? It doesn't work out, is the answer. Right? But I don't think money is real, right? And whenever I say that, people always go, of course money's real, Michael. Look, here's some notes, here's some coins. No, that's currency. Money and currency, two different things, right? Like, if money was beer, currency would be the glass it comes in, right? We have currency, so when you go to the bank, you can get your money out in the form of notes. Kind of like how when you go to the bar, we have glasses so that when you order a beer, they don't just spray it in your face. This guy's like, oh, actually, that sounds delicious. Let's do that from now on. But the notes just represent money, right? In the olden days, it used to represent gold. Like, a $10 note was worth $10 of gold. But now, the notes just represent, like, $10 of the idea of money. That is like playing musical chairs, but instead of chairs, you've got the concept of chairs. Right. I'm worried the music's going to stop, everyone's going to get hurt. I think it's a problem. And people go, oh, Michael, it's not a problem, because we all believe the notes have value. You can use it to buy goods and services. Believe in it, you get stuff. That's how money works. And I'm like, yeah, but it's also how Santa works. They're like, yeah, we just made it up. We thought it'd make you behave. Apparently not, right? But that's the idea, right? The money gets its value because the government says it has value, right? Now, when the government makes a note and says it's money, that's called fiat currency. When you do it, that's a crime. Don't try it at home. But that's the idea, right? The government makes a note and goes, this is money. Kind of like how McDonald's makes nuggets. It goes, this is chicken. People there going, I don't think that's chicken. They're like, yes, it is. That is fiat chicken. You'll enjoy that. Right, but now that's what we have. We don't have, it's no gold, not silver. It's just people's faith and hope and trust. That is terrifying. That's like being on the Titanic and realizing they've replaced all the life jackets with happy thoughts. Like, shouldn't it be something tangible? Shouldn't it be something real? Maybe gold's a good idea. It's always been valuable. We've had that expression, as good as gold. As good as gold means very trustworthy, very reliable. Good as gold. No one ever goes, as good as an abstract concept of value. Just never happens, right? So this is the position we're in. We could be on the edge of a massive monetary collapse, right? All our notes and coins could suddenly become worthless. That would be terrible. But if that did happen, I would look like a genius. Because I've been getting paid in sandwiches.
Also, because you've got the background with your philosophy degree, I think it's fantastic the way you're bringing sort of like acute thinking and challenging thinking into a setting where people are having fun. So people are having fun, there's a higher probability they're actually going to learn something, as opposed to when you're bored out of your brain, in some sort of situation going, I'm really, really over this. I think it's a fantastic setting to learn.
Well, absolutely. And I think that's also a thing I can offer is I'm not the smartest person. I don't know all the answers, but I think I am good at taking ideas, breaking them down and making them accessible to a general public. Yeah, if I can do that and I can use those skills, why not? Cryptocurrency is a very exciting development. I think it's going to change the world as we know it. And if there was just a few more evangelists out there just getting the message across and explaining to people, like what you guys are doing, podcasts, interviews, just friendly chats, making it understandable, it's fantastic.
That was largely our idea behind starting the clothesline, was because we noticed that there was a lot of men in the sphere, not so many girls, not so many women, but the women that we did know that were interested were sort of mums. And as you said before, you don't really know much about economics or finance until you're dead broke or until you're stuck between a rock and a hard place financially. And having kids, that's when you realize you're on the treadmill, because prior to that you might travel or... So, that's largely why we decided to start educating ourselves and other people through these interviews on the clothesline.
It's a fantastic thing you're doing. Thank you so much, guys. Helping spread the word.
You're welcome, but you're not getting away yet. There's two types of people in crypto. There's the hodlers and there's the traders. Which one are you? And do you have any, or have you seen any projects that you are interested in or passionate about?
Ooh, I am probably a hodler. I would like to spend it, but then I guess I'm a bit lazy. And I'm also, being a comedian, I don't have a lot of expenses. There's not a lot of pens and paper and writing things down and talking to myself. Those are the only outlays that I really have. So... yeah, mostly I'm trying to save as much as possible. Also with the volatility, I always, fingers crossed, it's Bitcoin to 1 million. Who knows? And there are some exciting things I see out there. I remember when I was first getting my CD online and selling it with Bitcoin, that there were people doing distribution with it, and they were looking at ways to use the blockchain for distributing digital goods, which I thought was a really interesting idea. There's a lot of talk about how to use the internet to cut out the middleman. In the past, when you're an artist recording a CD or a comedian putting out an album, how do you get it to people? How do you spread it around and yet make it easy for people to send you payments? hey, I think there's a lot of possibilities in crypto, and definitely. Yeah.
That sounds like mycelium. I'm really interested in mycelium as well. I think that it's the blockchain-based platform where recording artists can put all their music and you can just buy it from the block, basically.
Wow. I can't say I know a whole lot about it, but yeah, stuff like that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Abheeti, do you have anything else?
When you talked about you can see that it's really going to change the world, can you give us a really practical example of how you see this actually manifesting in our world and changing things for the better / whatever?
Well, I think just generally changing the banking system. So in the future, rather than using credit cards and payment processes like that, where they're taking percentages out and taking fees out of your money, you can use your own cryptocurrency, use it easily like digital cash. That'll be a lot easier. Also, it'll probably change the internet. Right now, you can't really sell anything for under about $5 because just the processing fees make it useless. Surely in the future, we're going to come up with a better way to make frictionless micropayments, pay for stuff online. That could be the solution to problems we're having with things like journalism. They're hiding everything behind a paywall because people don't want to pay. They're trying to balance up between charging people for subscriptions, which people don't want to really. Yeah. But then on the other hand, you don't want to give it away for free because banner ads and advertising online is not really bringing in enough money. So maybe there could be some in-between point with some sort of blockchain, crypto, something there to make publishing online a bit easier. Certainly trading online could be a lot easier. A lot of interesting futures.
That sounds really exciting because you could have like one article inside one block and it's got its own identity, and someone could just, instead of buying a subscription, they could just have access and pay a small amount for just that one article. Yeah. I reckon that would be amazing.
Right now, YouTube does, I think, something terrible like $3 per million of views, and everyone talks about, online video, it's not sustainable, they can't make enough money from advertising. Maybe if we could just make some sort of blockchain crypto subscription service or, pay-to-view sort of service, it'd make things so much easier, and video creators could be putting out content all the time.
Is that something that as a comedian you create some content, you give it out live, but in order to have a consistent income, you've got a product that you sell and that you want to see get generated more and more in people's lounge rooms, coming out of people's televisions? Would that help you as a comedian?
Certainly would. Kind of what I'm trying to do with putting my stuff out online and selling CDs. Traditionally, I've always made my money through live performances, and it's always nice to have people come and see me perform. There's probably possibilities for using crypto in that as well. Like right now, we're selling tickets, and if you use any sort of ticketing company like Ticket Tech or Ticketmaster, they're charging crazy fees. So surely there's ways of doing cheaper tickets through a Bitcoin exchange or something like that. Then you're cutting out middlemen and getting more money into the comedians. But even long term, if I'm producing stuff, putting it online, selling it out to people, that's a good way for me to make a second income from material that I've already created anyway. Yeah. I'm already in these comedy shows, I'm performing around town. It's not that much harder to audio record them or film them and sell them online. So why wouldn't I?
Wow, that'd be great. We'd be very happy to help you generate some more sales.
And is your Bitcoin gig, is that available on your website?
It is. I believe if you go to my website, I should have a link on there. My website's a bit of a mess at the moment. I'm slightly embarrassed. I always do these podcasts with tech people, and I'm like, I've got to fix my website. It's such a disaster. But there should be a link on there that should link out to my Bitcoin routine. It's also certainly on YouTube. You can watch it there and give me a bit of a tip if you enjoy the jokes.
All of the convenience, none of the evil. Right? With Bitcoin, instead of having bankers or politicians controlling your money, you get rid of them, you just have a computer program. Bitcoin, that's all it is, a computer program. Basically, it's maths, which is good because you can trust maths. You know, like you ask what's 2 plus 2, math says 4. Math always says 2 plus 2 is 4. You ask a politician, what's 2 plus 2? He's like, hey, vote for me, I'll make it 5. Some lobbyist shows up like, hey, make it 15. Help me out there. Right? You ask a banker, what's 2 plus 2? He's like, well, I can tell you, but there's a fee. Also, I can only tell you during banking hours. 10 till 2, Tuesday to Thursday.
This next tour, are you going to be staying in the Brisbane area, or are you going to be travelling, further afield?
We're planning a bit of a tour. Should be coming over to Perth.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll develop this routine, and once perform it around Brisbane, test it in the local clubs. Probably around the start of next year, we've got a comedy festival season. The Australian Comedy Festival season kicks off. Cool. So I'm hoping to get down there and do Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, maybe Sydney and New Zealand after that.
Wow, cool. Let me know when you come to Perth. Well, I'll keep an eye out too, of course.
I'll start stalking right away. I'll let you know, Abheeti, don't you worry.
Hey, do you ever go further afield? Do you ever go like overseas, over to Italy, for example?
Never been to Italy. I'd love to come to Italy. In the past, I've done the UK and Ireland. I've got ambitions to do Edinburgh sometime in the future, but at this stage, no real solid plans.
Okay.
But who knows? Maybe next year.
Well, I think you should go to one of these blockchain crypto events because there's so many now. It's like, seriously, there's an epidemic of crypto events. It's going a bit crazy. You should actually do gigs at these things.
Really?
Yes, because it's so dry and gross. Like, something needs to be done.
Yeah, but hang on, before you send him off to somebody else's gig, we're planning a summit, like a summit with mainly women speaking on blockchain, but it would be really cool to have you come in and lighten up, loosen it up, make it lots of fun, because that's, we're mums, we're all about children style, so that we know that when you're having fun, you actually learn stuff. So come and join us.
Yes, just the details, and hopefully we can set something up.
Yeah.
In Perth, it might be a bit of a flight, but I do come over for gigs from time to time.
We might be able to line up some ducks for you when you're over here. Get you some gigs as well.
Sounds great.
We're kind of looking at September, October, aren't we?
Yeah. But also in Perth, which shits me because I just moved back to Queensland from there. It's sort of like the Silicon Valley of Australia. And it's, when it comes to crypto and blockchain, it's pretty big. So I can imagine you, Michael, doing this event at Blockbox, which is this awesome little startup that is sort of like an accelerator for crypto and blockchain companies. But they have an awesome space. I can just imagine going there and having like a little event there, maybe a big event. Who knows?
Yeah.
Love to come. Naomi Brockwell, Bitcoin girl.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she watched a bunch of her stuff. She's made quite a few YouTube videos, and she even did a YouTube music video, which was quite fun. But I know she's originally from Perth.
Is she?
Yeah, WA. But I think she lives in America now. But yeah, comes back from time to time.
Well, she was here presenting recently. I missed it because, funnily enough, I was on the Sunshine Coast with Amy Rose. But she was also the first gig at the Consensus in New York.
Oh, wow.
She was the first person to speak there. So she's done really well.
Good on WA.
Yep, wait a while, WA. When you talked about education and the fact that it's really lacking with children in schools and stuff, we did a live event called Crypto and Kids, and the whole idea is to bring the education around cryptocurrency and blockchain technology applications to children. because we're both mums and we've noticed that our own kids are lapping it up and totally open to it. And the education system is so, so lacking.
I was teaching juggling workshops in primary schools a year or two ago now, and you forget because you haven't been in primary school for 20 odd years, and then you go back, you realize, man, they teach a little bit of English, a little bit of maths, but a lot of it's lining up and listening to the bell and that sort of stuff. Not a whole lot of really practical stuff, you know? I think the world would be different if we just gave people some basic information about personal finances. Look, don't borrow more than you can afford from a bank. Save more than you spend. Just simple ideas like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, that's kind of the idea behind Crypto and Kids. And we have this vision of being able to sort of get it into schools all over the place. But hey, one step at a time, baby steps. I was going to say that's another lesson we're learning from our kids, you know, like, baby steps. Michael, we're so thrilled that you could be with us. It's been an absolute hoot listening to you, and I can't wait to listen to your Bitcoin routine again. And if it's okay with you, we'll cut up a bit and put it in the show.
Please do. That'd be fantastic. Thanks so much for having us on the show.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
How good was that?
Oh my God, it was awesome. I can't wait till he comes over, and I want to go and support his shows and go and actually be a grown-up and actually listen to some live comedy.
Might wear your new dress, Abheeti.
I might wear my new frock. It's more of a frock than a dress.
Do you know what I thought was really cool? And I'm a bit jealous of comedians in this way. Like, you can actually look at cryptocurrencies, because I'm part of all these groups, you see. I follow over 100 LinkedIn people, groups, Facebook, Telegram, email, short courses, all of these things. They are so dead boring and dry, and there's no humour in it. How can people jump on board if it's so boring?
Well, because I think people equate economies and financial things and money, or the lack thereof, as being a kind of a serious, tragic, sort of boring fart area. But it doesn't have to be, does it?
No. When we do our summit, I'd really love Michael to come and maybe even MC it.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be very much fun. Yeah, let's see about that.
And
Definitely.
he would be great at Blockbox in Perth as well.
Yeah. I just love the idea of having somebody who's actually very knowledgeable about the subject, but bringing a very light side, bringing a, you know, like have a laugh at yourself side to things.
A little bit like Vera. Oh my God, the lawnmower man's about to start. There we go. See you later, Abheeti.
I'm sure Vera's going to have something to say about that.
Okay. See you later. He's begun.
Okay. Bye, darling.
Bye.
Hi, you've called Abheeti
And Amy Rose
at Crypto.
Clothesline.
Leave a message after the...
I've been listening to absolutely every episode of your podcast. It is not, now hear me on this, just hear me out. It is not because I think you're good at what you're doing. It is not because I appreciate the content. On the contrary, I find it quite distressing that two ladies like yourselves have to busy yourselves with all of this business that's to do with, you know, tech and the future and all this other hullabaloo that you seem to, you know, you're tripping over your words because you're talking about a whole lot of stuff that people have no clue what you're talking about. And quite frankly, ladies, I think you don't really know what you're talking about. My suggestion is you go back to college, you go back to uni, if you can manage it, and you go and do yourselves a nice course. You get yourself into something which is better suited for ladies of today. I have plenty of recommendations, although I do call in anonymously because I do not want to attract your ill favour. However, there are ways that if you wish to send me a private message, then I might be able to indicate some career paths which I think would be better suited to ladies of your intelligence and stature. Just saying.
Crypto-clothesline. Crypto-clothesline.